In the last episode, I had just received a cryptic message from our enigmatic ally, setting us on a perilous odyssey to unearth the fabled Aethereian archive. With my companions by my side, we were determined to track down the elusive cartographer, Elara, whose arcane maps promised to guide us to the archive. Our quest had just begun, and we were about to embark on a journey that would test our loyalty, ingenuity, and resolve. I stood on the outskirts of Lyra, gazing out at the forsaken city, its crumbling spires and turrets piercing the sky like skeletal fingers. The wind carried the whispers of forgotten centuries, and I felt a shiver run down my spine. My thoughts turned to Elara, the cartographer. What secrets lay hidden in her maps, and what lay in store for us as we ventured into the unknown? Dr. Orion, the brilliant and reclusive scientist, approached me, his eyes shining with an unyielding intensity. "We've received reports of a hidden entrance to the Aethereian ruins," he said, his voice low and urgent. "It's our best lead on finding Elara." I nodded, my heart racing with anticipation. We set off across the desolate wasteland. As we journeyed deeper into the ruins, the air grew thick with an eerie, pulsating energy. I could feel the weight of Aethereia's forgotten past bearing down upon us. Suddenly, Dr. Orion stopped, his head cocked to one side. "Do you hear that?" he whispered. I strained my ears, and soon the sound of scuttling, chitinous legs echoed through the ruins. A figure emerged from the shadows, a twisted, arachnid creature, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Without hesitation, Dr. Orion reached for his pack, producing a strange device that emitted a high-pitched whine. The creature recoiled, momentarily stunned. "We need to move," I urged, grabbing Dr. Orion's arm. "That thing won't stay distracted for long." We sprinted through the winding tunnels, the creature's enraged screeches echoing behind us. Finally, we burst into a vast, cavernous space, the ceiling lost in darkness. In the center of the room, a massive stone door loomed, adorned with ancient Aethereian runes. Dr. Orion's eyes widened as he approached the door. "This must be it," he breathed. "The entrance to the Aethereian archive." But as we reached out to touch the door, a voice boomed from the shadows, echoing off the walls. "You shouldn't have come here." I spun around, my hand on the grip of my sidearm, ready to face whatever lay ahead. And that's when I saw her, a figure shrouded in shadows, her eyes blazing with an inner fire. "Who are you?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. The figure stepped forward, her features illuminated by the flickering torches. I gasped as I recognized the cartographer, Elara, but something was wrong. Her eyes seemed haunted. And then, she spoke the words that would change everything. "The archive is not what you think it is, Alex. It's not a repository of secrets, but a key to unlocking a far greater danger." My heart sank as Elara's words hung in the air, leaving me with a sense of foreboding. What had we just gotten ourselves into? Previously, Alex and his companions set out to uncover the fabled Aethereian archive, tracking down the elusive cartographer, Elara, whose arcane maps promised to guide them to the archive. They navigated treacherous landscapes, encountering ancient Aethereian ruins and ruthless rival treasure hunters, until they finally reached the entrance to the archive. But instead of revelations, Elara's words left them with a sense of foreboding, hinting that the archive was not what they thought. As the weight of Elara's words settled upon us, I felt a chill run down my vertebrae. What did she mean? What kind of danger lay hidden behind the doors of the archive? Elara's eyes seemed to bore into my very soul, and for a moment I felt like I was staring into the abyss. But then, a spark of determination ignited within me. I took a step forward, my voice firm and resolute. "Tell us, Elara," I said, my words echoing off the ancient stones. "What lies beyond these doors?" Elara's gaze faltered, and for an instant, I glimpsed a glimmer of fear behind her haunted expression. Then, with a deep breath, she began to speak. "The Aethereian archive is a gateway to the forgotten realm of Erebus," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "A realm where the ancient Aethereians tampered with forces they didn't comprehend. Forces that could unravel the very essence of our reality. Dr. Orion's eyes widened in awe, while my own heart sank in trepidation. Erebus, the realm of the unknown, the forbidden. I had heard the whispers, the warnings, but I thought, Elara, what do you mean? Dr. Orion asked, his tone laced with caution. What kind of forces are we talking about? Elara's gaze drifted away, lost in the shadows. The architects of Erebus wielded power beyond mortal comprehension, she whispered. They created entities, beings of pure energy, entities that could reshape the fabric of reality itself. I felt the weight of her words like an avalanche, crushing my resolve. But I refused to back down. I looked at Dr. Orion, at Elara, and I knew that I had to push forward no matter the cost. We need to know more, I said, my voice firm. We need to understand what we're up against. Elara nodded, a hint of determination kindling in her eyes. Then let's proceed, she said. But be warned, Alex, once we step beyond these doors, there's no turning back. With Elara's warning echoing in my mind, I took a deep breath, steeled my nerves, and pushed forward into the unknown previously. Alex and his companions reached the entrance to the Aethereian archive, only to discover that it was a gateway to the forgotten realm of Erebus, where ancient Aethereians tampered with forces they didn't comprehend, creating entities that could reshape reality itself. As I stepped forward, the air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, like the hum of a harp string plucked to its breaking point. Elara's warning hung in the balance, a delicate thread threatening to snap at any moment. I felt the weight of the unknown pressing down upon me, but I refused to yield. Beyond the door, a labyrinth of narrow corridors and dark alcoves stretched out before us, like a twisted puzzle waiting to be solved. The silence was oppressive, heavy with the weight of centuries of forgotten secrets. Dr. Orion's breathing, quick and shallow, was the only sound that broke the stillness. Elara, which way? I asked, my voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. She nodded, her eyes fixed on some invisible point ahead. The main chamber lies at the heart of the labyrinth. It's where we'll find the archives. As we ventured deeper, the walls began to whisper secrets, ancient Aethereian hieroglyphs etched into the stone, pulsing with a soft, ethereal glow. I felt the power of the archive coursing through my veins, like a promise of secrets waiting to be unlocked. But we weren't alone. The air was alive with the faint hum of energy, as if we were being watched by unseen eyes. I sensed the presence of the entities Elara had spoken of, lurking just beyond the threshold of our perception. Suddenly, a faint tremor ran through the labyrinth, like the reverberation of a bell struck in the farthest reaches of the realm. The whispers in the walls ceased, and an oppressive silence fell over us once more. What was that? Dr. Orion asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Elara's eyes narrowed. Whatever it was, it's not of this world. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I realized we were being pulled into a realm where the laws of physics no longer applied. A realm where the rules of reality were about to be rewritten. Move forward, I whispered, my heart pounding in my chest. We need to know what's happening. As we stepped further into the labyrinth, the darkness seemed to coalesce around us, like a living entity wrapping itself around our tiny band of explorers. I knew that we were about to face the greatest challenge of our lives, one that would test our resolve, our courage, and our very sanity. The unknown beckoned, and I steeled myself to answer its call previously. Alex and his companions reached the entrance to the Aethereian archive, only to discover that it was a gateway to the forgotten realm of Erebus, where ancient Aethereians tampered with forces they didn't comprehend, creating entities that could reshape reality itself. Now, as they delved deeper into the labyrinth, they are confronted with whispers of ancient secrets and the lurking presence of reality-bending entities. As we ventured further into the heart of the labyrinth, the air grew thick with an otherworldly presence. Elara's warning echoed in my mind. In Erebus, the fabric of reality is thin, and the entities that reside here can manipulate the very essence of existence. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being led deeper into a trap from which there was no escape. Suddenly, the walls around us began to ripple and distort like the surface of water on a hot summer day. I felt a shiver run down my spine as a voice, ethereal and androgynous, whispered a single phrase in my ear. "The architects of Erebus await you." Dr. Orion's eyes snapped towards me, as if he too had heard the voice. "What do they mean?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I shook my head, unsure of what to make of the enigmatic message. Elara's gaze was fixed on the path ahead, her focus unwavering. "We need to keep moving forward," she said, her words laced with an undercurrent of urgency. "The archives hold the key to understanding what's happening here." As we pushed deeper into the labyrinth, the air began to crackle with energy. The whispers in the walls grew louder, their secrets and warnings overlapping in a cacophony of sound. I felt the weight of the forgotten secrets bearing down on me, threatening to crush us beneath their ancient, forgotten knowledge. Abruptly, the walls stopped whispering. The air seemed to still, as if the labyrinth itself was holding its breath. I sensed the presence of the architects, their attention fixed on us like a cold, unforgiving gaze. "Welcome, mortals," a voice boomed from the shadows, its words like thunder in the silence. "We have awaited your arrival for eons. You have entered our domain uninvited, but since you are here, let us play a game." The voice paused, and in that moment of silence I knew our fate hung in the balance. What game did the architects have in mind, and what were the stakes? Previously, Alex and his companions entered the forgotten realm of Erebus, where ancient Aethereians tampered with forces they didn't comprehend, creating entities that could reshape reality itself. As they delved deeper into the labyrinth, they were confronted with whispers of ancient secrets and the lurking presence of reality-bending entities, culminating in an ominous encounter with the enigmatic architects of Erebus. The silence was oppressive, weighing heavily on our shoulders as the architect's gaze bore into our souls. I felt Elara's hand brush against mine, a fleeting gesture of reassurance in the face of the unknown. Dr. Orion's eyes darted between us, his mind no doubt racing with the implications of this encounter. "What game?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady despite the tremors running through my veins. "Ah, mortal, it is a game of wit and cunning," the voice replied, its tone dripping with an otherworldly amusement. "You have entered our domain uninvited, and now you must prove your worth to depart with the secrets you seek." As the voice finished speaking, the labyrinth began to shift and contort around us. Walls slid apart, revealing a sprawling arena with a glowing, ethereal pedestal at its center. On the pedestal lay a small, crystal orb that pulsed with an intense blue light. "The orb of Erebus," Dr. Orion breathed, his eyes locked on the artifact. "It holds the secrets of the ancient Aethereian's power." "The game is simple," the voice continued. "You must navigate the trials of Erebus, designed to test your wit, courage, and strength. Should you succeed, the secrets of the orb shall be yours to claim, but should you fail—" The voice paused, and in that moment I felt the weight of the labyrinth's ancient power bearing down on us. "The very fabric of reality shall be reshaped to ensure your eternal silence." With that, the arena's walls began to shimmer, and 3 portals materialized, beckoning us to enter the unknown trials of Erebus. The stakes had never been higher, and I knew that the fate of our quest, and perhaps the entire planet of Aethereia, hung in the delicate equipoise of our decision previously. Alex and his companions encountered the enigmatic architects of Erebus, who presented them with a perilous game. Navigate the trials of Erebus to claim the secrets of the orb of Erebus, or risk being reshaped into eternal silence. As I gazed into the swirling portals, I felt the weight of responsibility settle upon my shoulders. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, and I knew that our decision would have far-reaching consequences. I took a deep breath, my heart pounding in anticipation, and turned to my companions. "We need to discuss this. We can't rush in without a strategy." Dr. Orion nodded vigorously, his eyes still fixed on the orb of Erebus. "Yes, we must analyze the trials, understand the nature of the challenges we'll face." Elara, ever the pragmatist, spoke up. "We should also consider the potential risks. If we fail, the consequences could be catastrophic." As we deliberated, the silence grew thicker, punctuated only by the distant hum of the labyrinth's ancient energy. It was as if the very fabric of reality was listening in, waiting for our decision. Suddenly, the air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly intensity. The walls of the arena began to shimmer, and a figure coalesced before us. It was an Aethereian, her features delicate yet striking, with skin that shimmered like the stars. "I am Lyra," she said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "I have been sent to guide you through the trials of Erebus. My kind has long studied the labyrinth's secrets, and I can help you navigate its treacherous paths." I felt a spark of hope ignite within me. "Why would you help us?" I asked, wary of hidden agendas. Lyra's gaze was enigmatic. "Because I believe that your quest has the potential to bring about a new era of peace and cooperation, and I am willing to take a chance on that possibility." Her words resonated deep within me. I knew that our decision would have far-reaching consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the entire planet of Aethereia. I turned to my companions, seeking their counsel. Dr. Orion's eyes sparkled with excitement, while Elara's face was etched with caution. But something in Lyra's words had struck a chord within me. I knew that I had to take a chance on this fragile hope. "Let's do it," I said, my voice firm. "We'll face the trials of Erebus take us." Lyra nodded, a gentle smile spreading across her face. "Then let us begin." With that, we stepped forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, and I knew that our decision would have consequences that would echo throughout the ages previously. Alex and his companions encountered Lyra, an Aethereian who offered to guide them through the trials of Erebus, and they decided to take on the challenges, determined to claim the secrets of the orb of Erebus. As we stepped forward, Lyra's smile seemed to brighten the air around us. "Follow me," she said, her voice full of an ethereal confidence. We trailed behind her, our footsteps echoing off the labyrinth's walls as we plunged into the unknown. The air thickened with anticipation, and I could feel the weight of the trials before us. Suddenly, Lyra halted, her gaze fixed on a shimmering portal ahead. "The first trial, the maze of resonance," she whispered, her words barely audible over the hum of the labyrinth's ancient energy. We stepped through the portal, and the world around us dissolved into a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds. I felt my senses reeling as we stumbled forward, our steps faltering in sync with the pulsing rhythms that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Dr. Orion's eyes darted around, his face lit up with an unbridled excitement as Elara's hand instinctively reached for her map, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Focus on the resonance," Lyra called out, her voice an anchor in the maelstrom. "The maze will adapt to your harmony. Trust in each other and you will find the path." I took a deep breath, feeling the pulse of the maze syncing with my own heartbeat. I reached out, my hand meeting Elara's, our fingers intertwining as we stepped forward in tandem. Dr. Orion grasped our shoulders, his eyes shining with an unspoken trust. Together we moved in sync, the maze responding to our harmony, its walls shifting, its colors deepening as we navigated the ever-changing labyrinth. The minutes blurred, the maze testing our trust, our coordination, and our resolve. But with each step our bond grew stronger, our movements more fluid, until finally we emerged into a vast cavern, the orb of Erebus suspended above us, pulsing with an otherworldly power. We had overcome the first trial. But as we gazed up at the orb, I knew that the true challenge lay ahead. The trials of Erebus were far from over, and the secrets we sought would come at a steep price. Lyra's words echoed in my mind. A new era of peace and cooperation, but at what cost? Previously, Alex and his companions navigated the maze of resonance, relying on trust and harmony to overcome the first trial of the trials of Erebus. With the orb of Erebus suspended above them, they stood on the threshold of unlocking its secrets. As we basked in the orb's radiance, Lyra's words whispered in my ear. The second trial, the Vault of Echoes. Her gaze locked onto mine, and I felt the weight of the trials bearing down on us once more. With a flicker of her wrist, Lyra summoned a portal, and we stepped through the shimmering veil, the cavernous space behind us dissolving into an eerie silence. The air was heavy with the echoes of forgotten memories, whispers of ancient civilizations that lingered like ghosts in the recesses of my mind. Dr. Orion's eyes sparkled with an unspoken, as if Head stumbled upon a hidden treasure trove of Aethereian lore. "The vault holds the memories of Aethereia's past," Lyra said, her voice barely audible above the whispers. "Find the chronosphere and unlock the secrets of the vault." As we ventured deeper, the whispers grew more urgent, the echoes coalescing into snippets of conversations, the whispers of lovers and the battle cries of warriors. The air reverberated with the weight of forgotten histories, each step drawing us closer to the heart of the vault. Suddenly, the whispers ceased, and an unsettling silence fell upon us. The darkness was oppressive, the silence palpable. I felt Elara's hand tense, her grip on my arm a lifeline in the void. "Find the resonance," Lyra whispered, her voice a distant echo in the abyss. I closed my eyes, focusing on the silence, allowing the echoes to guide me. The darkness began to recede, like a veil lifting from my eyes. I opened them to find a shimmering crystal suspended before us, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. The chronosphere. With the chronosphere, we unlocked the secrets of the vault of echoes, and the whispers of the past fell silent. But as we gazed upon the chronosphere, I knew that the true challenge lay ahead. The trials of Erebus were far from over, and the secrets we sought would come at a steep price. Lyra's words echoed in my mind. A new era of peace and cooperation, but at what cost? As we emerged from the vault, I saw Lyra's enigmatic smile once again, and I knew that the path ahead would be fraught with danger, but I was ready. For the first time, I felt a glimmer of hope that our quest might actually change the course of Aethereia's history. The next step would be to find the Aethereian archive, hidden deep within the Forsaken City. The journey would be treacherous, and we would be hunted by ruthless treasure seekers. But with Lyra's guidance, Dr. Orion's knowledge, and Elara's expertise, I knew that we could overcome the challenges that lay ahead. As we left the trials behind, I felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. We had overcome the second trial, and we were one step closer to unlocking its secrets. The orb of Erebus still pulsed with power, but I knew that our journey was far from over. The stakes were higher, the dangers were greater, but I was ready. For the first time, I felt like a true leader, guiding my companions toward a brighter tomorrow. And as we walked away from the trials, I knew that the journey ahead would be the most challenging of all. The path to the Aethereian archive would be fraught with danger, but I was ready. I would face whatever lay ahead, with courage, with determination, and with hope. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance, and I was ready to take on the challenge previously. Alex and his companions overcame the second trial of the trials of Erebus, unlocking the secrets of the Vault of Echoes with the chronosphere. With the orb of Erebus still pulsing with power, they emerged from the trials, ready to face the treacherous journey to the Aethereian archive, hidden deep within the Forsaken City. We stepped into the unknown, the air thick with the weight of forgotten memories. The city loomed before us like skeletal giants, a labyrinth of crumbling structures and twisted metal. Elara's eyes sparkled with a mix of excitement and trepidation as she unfolded her arcane map, the ink bleeding into the air like a ghostly mist. "This way," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the creaking of twisted metal and the rustling of ancient fabrics that hung like banners. "The archive lies within the heart of the city." As we ventured deeper, the silence grew thicker, punctuated only by the soft crunch of gravel beneath our feet. The map seemed to pull us toward a massive structure that pierced the sky like a shard of obsidian. Dr. Orion's eyes gleamed with an unspoken excitement, his fingers dancing across the air as if conducting an unseen orchestra. Suddenly, the silence was shattered by a chorus of raucous laughter, and the air was filled with the sound of shattering glass. A group of treasure hunters, their faces twisted into cruel grins, emerged from the darkness. They were led by a woman with skin like polished marble, her eyes blazing with an unnatural hunger. "You're the ones who've been making waves," she sneered, her voice like crushed velvet. "You're the ones who think they can claim the secrets of the archive." Lyra stepped forward, her eyes flashing with a fierce intensity. "You'll have to go through us first," she said, her voice like a promise of devastation. The battle erupted like a storm, the clash of steel and the shattering of glass echoing through the forsaken city. We fought with every ounce of strength, every trick and every ounce of cunning. The rival treasure hunters were relentless, driven by a hunger that seemed almost inhuman. As the fight raged on, I felt the weight of the trials bearing down on me once more. The orb of Erebus pulsed with power, but I knew that our journey was far from over. We had to claim the secrets of the Aethereian archive, no matter the cost previously. Alex and his companions emerged from the trials of Erebus, possessing the orb of Erebus, and set their sights on the treacherous journey to the Aethereian archive within the forsaken city. As they ventured deeper, they encountered a group of ruthless treasure hunters, led by the enigmatic woman with marble-like skin, who sought to claim the secrets of the Aetherean archive. The air was heavy with the acrid stench of burnt metal as our opponents lay defeated, their twisted bodies a testament to the ferocity of our battle. Lyra's gaze still blazed with intensity, her chest heaving with exhaustion, while Elara's eyes seemed to gleam with an unspoken warning. Dr. Orion's fingers, still conducting an unseen symphony, stilled, and his eyes snapped back to us, filled with a newfound sense of urgency. "We must move quickly," he cautioned, his tone laced with a hint of desperation. "The rival treasure hunters may have been defeated, but others will soon follow. We must reach the Aethereian archive before it falls into the wrong hands." As we hastened through the forsaken city, the silence was broken only by the creaking of twisted metal and the rustling of ancient fabrics that hung like banners. Elara's arcane map continued to guide us, the ink bleeding into the air like a ghostly mist. The map seemed to pull us toward a massive structure that pierced the sky like a shard of obsidian, growing larger with every step. The structure's entrance was guarded by two imposing stone statues, their eyes glowing with an otherworldly energy. They stood motionless, their presence both captivating and foreboding. Dr. Orion's eyes locked onto the statues, and his fingers began to dance across the air once more. The ancient Aethereians used bioenergetic signatures to lock their strongholds, he explained, his voice barely audible above the hum of the statues. "We need to resonate with the correct frequency to unlock the entrance." Lyra's gaze snapped to me, her eyes flashing with determination. "You're the key, Alex," she said. "You're the one who's connected to the orb of Erebus. You're the one who can this." I felt the weight of responsibility settle onto my shoulders as I grasped the orb of Erebus, its power coursing through my veins. I closed my eyes, focusing on the ancient energy that flowed through me, and began to hum. The air vibrated with the subtle changes in frequency as I resonated with the statue's energy. Slowly, the statue's eyes dimmed and their stony forms relaxed, allowing us to pass. We stepped into the heart of the structure, the air thick with anticipation. As we ventured deeper, the chamber of the Aethereian archive came into view. Towering shelves, lined with ancient artifacts and relics, stretched toward the vaulted ceiling. The air reverberated with the whispers of forgotten knowledge and the pulse of the orb of Erebus. But we were not alone. A hooded figure, shrouded in darkness, emerged from the shadows, their eyes fixed on the orb of Erebus. "You've come for the secrets of the archive," they stated, their voice like the rustling of dry leaves. "But you're not the only ones who seek it." Their words hung in the air like a threat, as the hooded figure stepped forward, revealing a face that would change the course of our journey forever. Previously, Alex and his companions braved the treacherous journey to the Aethereian archive, defeating rival treasure hunters and navigating ancient ruins to unlock the entrance. As they entered the chamber of the Aethereian archive, they were met with a surprise. A hooded figure, shrouded in darkness, who revealed a face that would change the course of their journey forever. The hooded figure's features came into stark relief, illuminating the room with an unsettling familiarity. It was a face I had seen before, etched on the walls of my past, a visage that stirred echoes of a long-forgotten childhood. The woman's eyes, once bright with warmth and laughter, now blazed with an icy intensity as if the very essence of her being had been drained away. Her skin, once radiant with a golden glow, now seemed pale and translucent like alabaster. "Mother," I whispered, my voice cracking with hesitation. The woman's lips curled into a cold, calculating smile. "Welcome, Alex. I've been waiting for you. You've come to unlock the secrets of the Aethereians, but do you have the courage to confront the truth about your own past?" Lyra's hand instinctively reached out to my shoulder, a gesture of solidarity as the weight of my mother's words crashed down on me like a tidal wave. Dr. Orion's eyes darted between us, his fingers fluttering in agitation, as if he sensed the hidden dynamics at play. "What do you know about my past?" I demanded, trying to keep my voice steady. "Oh, Alex, I know everything," my mother replied, her voice dripping with an unnerving sincerity. "I know about the experiments, the trials, the secrets that Lyra's parents kept from you. I know about the reason why you're connected to the orb of Erebus." With each word, the air seemed to thicken, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling before our eyes. Elara's gaze darted around the room as if searching for an escape route. "Tell me," I pressed, my heart pounding against my chest. "Tell me the truth." My mother's smile grew wider, her eyes glinting with an unnerving intensity. "The truth, Alex, is that you're not who you think you are. You're not just a hero or a warrior or a pawn in a game of power. You're something more, something ancient, something Aethereian." As her words echoed through the room, the shadows seemed to writhe and twist, as if the very essence of the Aethereian archive was reacting to the revelation. Lyra's grip on my shoulder tightened, a silent promise of support as she sang. Dr. Orion's fingers danced across the room, as if trying to unravel the tangled threads of our destiny. I felt the orb of Erebus pulsing through me, its ancient energy urging me to confront the truth about my past. With each passing moment, the stakes seemed to escalate, as if the fate of Aethereia itself hung in the balance. Would I be able to uncover the secrets of my past, or would the weight of my mother's revelations crush me? Previously, Alex and his companions had braved the treacherous journey to the Aethereian archive, only to be met with a shocking revelation. Alex's mother, thought to be long lost, stood before them, her true intentions shrouded in mystery. With her words still echoing through the chamber, "You're something more, something ancient, something Aethereian," the room seemed to hold its breath. Lyra's grip on Alex's shoulder remained firm, a testament to her unwavering support. Dr. Orion's fingers still danced in agitation, as if the secrets of the universe lay hidden in the intricate patterns of the archive. "My mother," Alex began, his voice barely above a whisper. "What do you mean?" His mother's smile grew wider, her eyes gleaming with an unnerving intensity. "The truth, Alex, is that you are a direct descendant of the ancient Aethereians. Your connection to the orb of Erebus is not a coincidence. You were chosen, selected to wield its power." The weight of her words crashed down on Alex like a tidal wave. Lyra's hand tightened around his shoulder, a silent promise of solidarity. Elara's gaze darted around the room, searching for an escape route, while Dr. Orion's eyes seemed to bore into the very fabric of reality. "Why?" Alex demanded, his voice shaking with anger and confusion. "Why me?" His mother's smile grew wider, her voice dripping with an unnerving sincerity. "Because, Alex, you possess the key to unlocking the secrets of Aethereia's forgotten past. You hold the power to unravel the tangled threads of our destiny." As she spoke, the shadows in the room seemed to writhe and twist, as if the very essence of the Aethereian archive was reacting to the revelation. Lyra's grip on Alex's shoulder tightened, a silent promise of support as the stakes seemed to escalate. The fate of Aethereia itself hung in the balance. In that instant, Alex felt the orb of Erebus pulsing through him, its ancient energy urging him to confront the truth about his past. With each passing moment, the weight of his mother's revelations threatened to crush him. Yet, with Lyra by his side and Dr. Orion's guidance, Alex steeled himself for the ultimate challenge. "We'll uncover the truth," Alex declared, his voice steady. "We'll unlock the secrets of Aethereia's forgotten past and forge a new future for our world." The room seemed to hold its breath as Alex's words echoed through the chamber. His mother's smile grew wider, her eyes gleaming with a newfound intensity. The shadows in the room seemed to coalesce, as if the very essence of the Aethereian archive was reacting to Alex's declaration. In that moment, the game changed. The stakes escalated. The journey that began as a search for secrets and power had transformed into a quest for self-discovery, identity, and the fate of Aethereia itself. As the chamber fell silent, Alex and his companions steeled themselves for the ultimate challenge. They would confront the truth about Alex's past, unlock the secrets of Aethereia's forgotten past, and forge a new future for their world. With the fate of Aethereia hanging in the balance, Alex took the first step towards unlocking the secrets of the Aethereian archive. The journey that began as a search for power and secrets had transformed into a journey of self-discovery, identity, and the fate of Aethereia itself. Epilogue. In the aftermath of their triumph, Alex stood atop a hill overlooking the city of Lyra. The once forsaken city now bustled with life and hope. Lyra stood by his side, her hand on his shoulder, a gesture of solidarity and love. Dr. Orion and Elara looked on, their eyes shining with pride and admiration. As the wind whispered through the city, Alex gazed out at the horizon, his eyes fixed on the stars. The orb of Erebus pulsed within him, a reminder of the power he now wielded. Yet it was not the power that defined him, but the heart that beat with courage, determination, and a vision of a better tomorrow. In that moment, Alex knew that his journey was far from over. The archives of the Aethereian held secrets beyond his wildest imagination, and the universe itself held mysteries waiting to be unraveled. Yet, with Lyra by his side, Dr. Orion's guidance, and the power of the Aethereian archive coursing through him, Alex knew that the horizon held no bounds. The stars gleamed bright, and Alex smiled, his heart afire with hope and his spirit buoyed by determination. For in a world of endless possibility, Alex had discovered his true calling to forge a brighter future, not just for Aethereia, but for the cosmos itself.